Most financial people, except maybe Dave Ramsey, will tell you that there are two different kinds of debt. You have good debt and bad debt. Good debt is when you borrow money to buy something that will make you money, and bad debt is when your cousin Bunty borrows a whole bunch of money to drive a car that he can't afford. But it's really not so simple. What's up, everybody? I am Jaspreet Singh from theMinorityMindset.com and welcome to The Minority Mindset. I want to start today's video with a little riddle. What's a four-letter word that starts with D and ends with T, and it seems harmless because it's all around us, but if you have too much of this, then it's going to make you feel sick to your stomach? Any guesses? The answer? Dust. D-U-S-T. Lucky for you, we're not talking about dust today, we're talking about debt. More specifically, I'm going to be talking about the truth behind this good debt that everyone seems to talk about. Many people will tell you that the secret to becoming wealthy is using debt, but not just any kind of debt. It's using good debt, because if you use good debt the right way, then you're borrowing money to make you wealthy. The simplest way for me to explain this is good debt is when you borrow money to buy an investment or an asset that is going to pay you for owning it, while bad debt, on the other hand, is when you go out and you borrow money to buy something that's going to lose you money. So when your cousin Bunty goes out and he finances his $15,000 Gucci wardrobe on his credit card, that's bad debt. And if you go out and you buy an investment property using the bank's money, that's good debt, because this is making you money while this isn't. So if you want to become wealthy, the answer is simple. Get rid of your bad debts. So pay off your credit card, pay off your car payments, pay off all the things that are not making you any money, and start accumulating all this good debt to buy investments, because now you're using OPM, other people's money, margin leverage, whatever you want to call it. You are using someone else's money to build you wealth. In theory, that makes perfect sense. Let's assume you want to borrow $1 million. That way you can go and invest in a business. So you go to the bank and you ask for $1 million. And let's assume, for the sake of this example, that the bank says, sure, we'll give you $1 million. All you have to do is pay us back $40,000 a year. Now, this is okay, let's say for this example, because this $1 million investment is going to make you $100,000 a year. So that means you have a $60,000 spread. Yeah, you borrowed $1 million and you have to pay $40,000 a year, but you are left with $60,000 every single year, and this is using the bank's money. You're not using your own money. So you're becoming wealthy because of somebody else's money. This is what everybody calls good debt. This is where the whole discussion between good debt versus bad debt ends for the majority of people, but it's really not so simple, and I'm going to be explaining why. But before I do that, I need you to do me a quick favor and smash that thumbs up button below, because the way the YouTube algorithm works, if you do not smash that thumbs up button, then YouTube is much less likely to show you and other people our financial news and education videos. When most people are talking about good debt, they're talking about real estate debt, more specifically income producing real estate, so real estate investments. They're talking about business debt, so now you're using money to buy a business or grow a business, or they're talking about student loans. When people talk about bad debt, they're talking about credit card debt, they're talking about your car loans, and they're talking about all other consumer loans. I'm going to talk about CL. These are things that don't make you any money. Here's the thing. Debt is kind of like a Sour Patch Kid. If you've ever seen a Sour Patch Kid commercial, people eat a Sour Patch Kid and they say, wow, first it's sour, then it's sweet. Debt is the opposite. First is sweet, and then it's sour. You'll see what I mean by that in just a minute. Debt has its place in our economy because it allows us to accelerate our economic growth. When you use debt, whether you're talking about good debt or bad debt, you are taking your future income and spending it today to buy something, whether it be an investment or a liability, and then you're gonna have to pay for this thing that you bought with your future income. If you walk through downtown Manhattan, you're going to see billions of dollars of prime real estate that was financed through debt. Property developers don't have billions of dollars sitting in their bank account, so they finance these buildings using debt, and then they pay this debt back using the rental income that these properties generate, and they keep some of that money for themselves. That's how they make money. If we didn't have debt, then real estate developers wouldn't have the funds to build these skyscrapers. Debt also lets some businesses grow faster than they would be able to do if they didn't have access to debt. Like, let's say you run a shoe business and you only have enough cash in the bank to produce $20,000 worth of shoes, but then you get a big order from Walmart or Costco saying that they want to buy $200,000 worth of shoes. Now, at this point, you can either say, well, we only have enough money to produce $20,000 worth of shoes, so we can only produce 1/10 of the order. Or you can go and borrow whatever cash you need to produce $200,000 worth of shoes, and then you can create $200,000 worth of shoes, sell it to Walmart or Costco, get the money for selling these shoes, and then pay off the bank. When things are good, you can go on and on and on about the benefits of debt. This is where debt is sweet. But that same good debt can also be very sour. If you're subscribed to our YouTube channel, you know that I'm a real estate investor. And if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, you should probably do that. But my very best and most profitable deals, almost every single one of them, came from other people who used good debt, and then this good debt turned sour on them. What they don't tell you about good debt is if you don't know how to use your good debt, then this good debt can turn very sour. I have bought properties for literally pennies on the dollar because the previous owners didn't know how to manage their good debt, and they didn't know how to manage their investment properties, and so this good debt came back to bite them in the butt. I have been a part of $1 million deals that sell for $400,000, literally 40 cents on the dollar, because the previous owners didn't know how to manage their good debt. And now their good debt has gotten to the point where their good bankers are forcing the owners to sell their properties for pennies on the dollar, and they're selling it for way below market value because they just want to get rid of this good debt. It ends up being great debt for people like me because the bankers force the owner to sell the property for way below what it's worth to investors like me. Everybody keeps talking about the benefits of good debt and how good debt can make you wealthy, but what nobody tells you is good debt can be sweet. But if you don't know how to use and manage this good debt, it can be very sour. Debt is a tool. Think of it kind of like a chainsaw. It doesn't matter how good of a chainsaw you have, whether it's good or bad. If you don't know how to use this tool, if you don't know how to use your chainsaw, you're gonna cut off your arm. Oh no, my arm is gone. Hey look, my arm's good as new. Now, I know this is not a real estate video, but if you do want to learn more about how you can invest in real estate, our team has put together some awesome articles on real estate investing on our website, theminoritymindset.com, and I'll also link one for you up here and in the description below. We gotta stop looking at debt as the solution for building wealth and really understand what debt is. Debt is a solution, and at the end of the day, debt also comes with headache. I mean, the less debt you have, the less headache you have. I'm saying this as an investor. If you own your properties free and clear, then you're gonna have a whole lot less headache because the bank can't come and take the property from you. Now, I'm not saying don't use debt. I'm saying understand how debt plays a part in what you do. If you don't use debt, you're not gonna be able to buy as many properties because now you have to use your own money, so it's harder and it's more expensive. But you also don't have the fear of not being able to make your payments if your tenant doesn't make theirs. Debt is a tool that you can use to become wealthier faster, but it also comes with more risk. It's kind of like using a chainsaw to cut down a tree as opposed to an axe. You can cut down a tree with an axe, but it's going to take you longer and you won't be able to cut down as many trees. If you use a tool like a chainsaw, you can cut down trees a whole lot faster, but if you don't know how to use a chainsaw, you can cut off your arm. It's the same thing in the business world. There's a whole industry of people out there that are just waiting for business owners to screw up because they take on too much debt. Then when these business owners are drowning in debt, these people come in and they buy your business for a fraction of what it's worth because they know you have no other option. If you can borrow $100,000 in your business and make $1 million, that's great. And businesses do this all the time. But then people can also get addicted and they get greedy. And so now you're not making decisions based on proper financials. You're making decisions based on how much you can leverage things up, because that more leverage comes with more opportunity to make more money, but you start to forget about the risk. When it works, that good debt can be great for you. When it doesn't work, then that good debt ends up being really sour for you, and then someone else can come in and buy your business for a fraction of what you thought it was worth. It's the same thing with student loans. Everybody tells you that student loans are good debt and you should not worry about taking on student loans because this is an education that will pay off over your lifetime. But again, it's how you use it. How many times have you heard of people getting a degree that cost them $100,000 or $200,000, and then after they graduate college, they don't know what they want to do, so they get a job paying them $30,000 a year. On the other hand, you have some people graduating school with $25,000 worth of student loans making $100,000 a year. It's how you use it. Debt at the end of the day means that you owe somebody else money. If your goal is freedom, you don't want to owe anybody else money. But if you just want to be rich and you want to build this wealth as fast as possible, then debt can be a tool that helps you get you there, but you need to understand the risk. If you enjoyed this video, here's a video that I think you'll love, and while you're at it, subscribe to our YouTube channel and join our free finance and business newsletter. And as always, keep hustling. All right, now check this out. So $2,000, $2,000, $2,000. Every single month, your neighbors are going to be sending you $6,000 a month when your property's full.